Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maud Toussaint Como. This is the channel where we talk about fragrances and arts. Today I wanted to maybe chat a little bit in between talking about fragrances because I am in isolation here due to COVID. So I am lucky enough to be in the balcony overlooking the garden, which I've gotten you very familiar with by now. So if this is your first time watching me, I usually just talk about fragrances, arts that I've been collecting for years, and also show you some of the art around my interior, and also just hanging in my garden until my beautiful hydrangeas blooms, and then I'm like all out talking about that. So wait to get sick of that garden. This is where we are. Not that I'm a big gardener. I'm a gardener, but I'm good at adding plants and flowers. Not even plant, flower pots. So this is where I am. So I'm fortunate enough to sort of be in my suite and be isolated because I am in isolation, but I'm able to listen to the beautiful sound of the birds, the cicadas and whatnot, and just, so this is a different perspective of the garden right there. Showing you a little bit. So we're visiting a little bit from above. It's very green. I try to incorporate some flowers here and there, but it's mostly very green. So it's a different perspective for you guys to see. Okay, so welcome to my channel, A Mod Thing. So that's a new perspective. I'm sweating a bullet. Not to, how would I say that, dramatize things, but I did contract COVID for the second time after I've had after I've been fully vaccinated and had the booster shots. So we really need to keep vigilant because I was very surprised to, even the second bout, to have very uncomfortable syndromes. And so I've been prescribed that medication, and I've also had to have inhalant to help with my chest. I'm feeling better today. So this is why, and I'm in isolation, perhaps lonely too. So I thought of having a two-part series. I think I want to do a get to know me video, but so I'll make that my part 2. COVID isolation part 2. But most of you come to see me in my channel for my fragrances and maybe a little bit for my art. I try to get the art going and just share that, but a lot of you really love my fragrances. It occurred to me that I actually made a decision, like when I was diagnosed with the COVID virus. I had finished filming a perfume haul, and I was smelling things. So what I was saying was actually truth. But later that evening, later that evening, I had over 12 perfumes on me because I was like trying things in the video and talking about it. And that's when I realized things were weird, because I really was not smelling anything on me. And then that's when I started having situation, and then took the test, and things got a little bit worse. So I feel I'm not going to trust my nose to really talk about fragrances I don't know. But in any case, I did decide to make a selection of my selection of fragrances that I felt were going to be good for me in isolation and whatnot, just because personally to me, clearly that's not prescription. But I just felt personally to me, there were some fragrances that, to the extent that I'm going to be isolated, were going to be perhaps interesting for me to wear. And sure enough, it turns out that those fragrances, I've been wearing them for the last 5 days since I've been diagnosed with the COVID, and they actually really work. I smell them. I probably smell them less than other people, but no one is around me anyway, so I don't have to worry about it. But I felt like those fragrances, ever since I've had them, they've had some form of therapeutic feel to them. They're either citrus based, which is invigorating for me, or they're either tea based, which is very comforting to me, or they're either sort of the spice, heavy mint. They have eucalyptic, which are very strong in terms of, and also a little bit of medicinal. So I thought, hey, I would just share those with you, and because my experience with them has been really great. I don't think like I could really try right now heavily perfumey florals or fruits, but I just find the citrus, the tea, and the sort of minty eucalyptic types of fragrances really work. So let me just start then with what I've been wearing this week. So here is my stash for this week. Some of them I've worn already, and others I'm still to wear during my bout of COVID. But these are the fragrances that I am wearing this week, and I can tell you more about them. But here is the logic to them, right? These two right here, a female Christ, and she came to stay. These are very spicy fragrances. I can give you the notes on those and tell you more about them. These are my citruses, and they're by House of Sillage, Whispers of Guidance, and Whispers of Time. And then of course for citrus, there is nothing as great as stuff by Atelier Cologne. These have been amazing citrus for me in terms of calming citrus and beautiful citruses. And I also should have mentioned the herbal. So along the herbal, I have strong herbal and softer herbal, and my strong herbals are made with Haitian vetiver, and they are really medicinal and warm and natural smelling, not like you're wearing fragrance in a way. So it's Spirit Citadelle, I've been wearing that, and then Commodity Vetiver. Those two are like totally the Haitian vetiver, very strong, very warm, very natural, very comforting. And then the soft sort of greens that I've been wearing is like tea-like as opposed to herb-like, and this is Gucci Memoire d'une Odeur. It has a chamomile that's relaxing, and this is Past Present by Rhodes Fragrance, It has the black African tea. That's also a tea like that's very calming, I find. And also Twilli Hermes, because of the ginger note to it, I find is very calming as well. So I can show you and tell you a little bit more about them, but in essence, this is what I have been wearing during my bout of COVID and isolation. Guys, so let me tell you about those two fragrances, and you see a little bit some of the similarity. So this is Female Christ by 1969. I seriously bought those two fragrances. They're my most feminist fragrances. They have an amazing literary story behind them. So She Came to Stay is obviously the novel by Simone de Beauvoir, who is arguably the mother of feminist thinking, of feminist literary work. And so She Came to Stay is actually the same name of her novel. So it's an aromatic fougere. It's an aromatic fougere, and it has lemon, basil, geranium, and the middle notes are nutmeg and cloves. And base notes are vetiver, oak moss, cedar, cardamom, and patchouli. So clearly, if you're familiar with those notes, it tells you very clearly between the clove, the moss, we're talking about woody, we're talking about basil. It's very, very, very therapeutic feeling and natural feeling. And all the Timothy Hunt fragrances, I believe, are natural fragrances. So it's a lot of oil. It has long staying power. It's just been an amazing fragrance for me to wear. This is what I'm wearing today. And it's just very, very, very good. I find even if it's summer, just being here, maybe it's with the basil herbs and everything, even if it has warmer stuff like clove, it still is very, very good to be in a garden-like setting to wear. And Female Christ also has an interesting story because it's about this, how would I say that, like moving art piece where a woman walked into a market exchange in the nude with a cross, and this is why it's called Female Christ. That social activist female who walked into the stock exchange in Copenhagen in protest. So the notes there in the bottle, it says the note also. So it's eucalyptus, patchouli, pimento, rhubarb, wintergreen, red thyme, geranium, vanilla, amber, benzoin, cinnamon bark, and cashmere wood. It really began with the patchouli very prominently. Patchouli essentially smell like, or give you the feel of earth almost. Something very earthy, earth-like. But it does turn into a very smooth fragrance with the amber and the vanilla and the cinnamon bark and cashmere wood. So it begins very, how would I say that? Strong. It makes a strong statement. And then it becomes harmonious. It's almost like wearing it feels like you start like, oh, I don't give a damn. And then it becomes almost an alter ego, something that, if you can understand, really works very, very beautifully. So that's 1969. And actually layering the two together because of the similarity of the ingredients also works very well. You know, layering those two together definitely works very well with the similarity of the fragrances. So these are really my number two. I feel like that's all I want to wear. Seriously, like they're smooth enough to just, even going to sleep makes me feel kind of nice. I think in terms of strength, the next that follows, or that probably equally strong, but that's going into a different direction, are the commodity vetiver and the war spirit citadelle. And of course, there is another beautiful story around these fragrances. War spirit is a fragrance that totally is in celebration of Haitian culture. So it's meant to make you feel like you're climbing the beautiful mountains of Haiti, and you're smelling the vetiver that we are really known for, in the wood, and basically the strong spirit and the general sense of spiritualism you feel when you are in the mountain of Haiti, that if you know the history. And of course, the citadel is a fortress in Haiti that also historically means a lot. That's literally one of the wonders of the world, have strong historic meaning. So war spirit, definitely wearing that is really, really appropriate right now. It's so beautiful. It's war, it's masculine, but it's beautiful enough for a woman to wear. It's one of the very male-leaning fragrances that I have no problem wearing. War Spirit by Citadelle, and the Vetiver by Commodity is a little bit drier. This one is more spicy and warm. The Commodity by Vetiver is even truer to the Haitian Vetiver. The dryness of it, and it lasts. It's really beautiful. I actually like to also layer it with my citrus fragrances, but those fragrances have been perfect. I wear them all over, in my legs, just all over, so that as I walk up and down the balcony and the breeze comes, then I can feel the nice vetiver as if I am in the beautiful mountain full of spirit mountains in Haiti. So yeah, these have been my second set of fragrances that I've found very appropriate and that have helped me feel pretty good in my isolation. Again, that is not prescription or anything like that. It's just sharing what I've been wearing during this time. Next set of stuff that I've been wearing, especially in the afternoon for like more relaxation, have been the tea-like, and I'll discuss them again together. So that's around the chamomile tea. That's Gucci Memoire d'une Odeur. It's an incredibly beautiful, beautiful fragrance, I find. And let me see what other note it has. Bitter almond and chamomile. What can I say? To me, this is niche quality. It's a beautiful fragrance. You wouldn't think it's a really commercial. You wouldn't think it's a commercialized fragrance. It's just a very, very beautiful fragrance. That's all we can say about it. In past presence, I don't hear a lot talk about it, but it's by this house called Rhodes, and it comes like that. So again, this one has a beautiful story because it was a fragrance that was inspired by literature in Nigeria. Past presence is taken after the title of Wole Soyinka, the Nobel Prize African Literature winner in 1986 when he gave his speech, and he says the past must address its presence. How African countries have to learn from the past to really address their presence. But in any case, what we get in this particular fragrance is a celebration of African war ingredients. So it's very citrusy. That's what is nice. So it's like a beautiful African night. So it begins with bergamot. Oh, very beautiful. Like I always feel like I could be in that movie Out of Africa under a beautiful tent with all white linen, wearing this fragrance. It really transports you to a beautiful, sophisticated safari, a beautiful starry night under the skies of Africa. So it begins with bergamot and bergamot and smoky note of black tea. And then you have tonka and jasmine. So it's both hot and cold at the same time, just like a beautiful safari night in Africa, under a starry night, like I say. It's one of my most beautiful fragrances, I find. And my only thing is I have to keep reapplying it, because you kind of want to have that feeling so much. And last but not least, in my tea range, I rediscovered my Twilli by Hermes, the original. I just find that ginger is feeling very good for me right now. So there it is. Cedar, ginger, peppercorn, rose. It's just an altogether beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Yeah. So I've been enjoying those tea fragrances. Last but not least, my citruses. When I first studied, I was like, oh, okay, this is the only thing I feel I'm going to be able to stand. They are my citrus fragrances. And I have other citruses that have just been pouring on me. Another Atelier Cologne, but I thought about that one so much, my Pacific Lime, that I decided not to talk about it. But I also have this one, Lemon Island. Lemon Island is just like it says, it has lemon. It's as if you're in a beautiful island. But not just lemon, it's called Lemon Island, but what you really have in this fragrance is trying to capture the sun, basically. So you have frangipani, and vanilla beans, and then lemon. And the three together just really, really feel beautiful. So you have citron from Indian Ocean, jasmine from India, and vanilla from Madagascar. And the vanilla from Madagascar is one of the best vanilla you can have. So this is why the whole Atelier Cologne citruses are always just on point. They last, 92% pure perfumes. What can I say? It's beautiful. And those House of Sillage, you always feel, oh my gosh, I want to wear House of Sillage. Just, you're talking about crystal caps. You're talking about this type of luxurious presentation, You always feel like you want to wear House of Sillage when you're going out. So I feel in isolation, it's just a little piece of sophistication, but in the nicest, smoothest way possible. So these are my most citrusy of the House of Sillage, and this one is Whisper of Guidance, and then this one is Whispers of Time. this one even reminds me of when I was little. My mom would give me orange blossom bath, taking the orange blossom from the trees and all the leaves from the orange trees. And that's what this reminds me, whispers of time. So this fragrance is just very calming and beautiful for me. So yeah, so this has been it, guys. I hope you enjoy my review, and thanks for spending the time with me on my balcony in isolation. And like I say, my next video I have to think about, maybe do a getting to know me. I'll try to do that. That's very hard to kind of talk about you. It's better to hide behind your things, your fragrances, my haul, my purses, my Louboutin shoes. See what they look like. But I'll try to just say a little something about me that I can think of. So yeah, until next time, bye. Stay tuned.